Hey gang, happy Friday to you. We are basically down to it and out of time. So I want to make this video. I know that everything, the big paper is due on Monday. However, I am still waiting on redactions, on edits for actually most of you. I have sponsored 6 or 7 research projects, so a majority of you, a vast majority of you, do not have sponsorship at this time. So that's a big thing. And so before I talk to you about submitting the final product, I want to talk to you about what's going on here. So we're going to go to the syllabus. So let's take a look at the syllabus. And you remember back in March, I said, lit review is the big thing. It is. So there are still a few of you who have failed to clearly and specifically define your research variables. Thoroughly discussing exploring existing research. Will not be allowed to submit a methods section. So if you still don't have a grade on your methods section, very honestly, I would suggest dropping the class because you're probably not going to get sponsorship at this time. And here's your methods section. Going into the methods section. Here's why I recommend dropping the class. Students who fail to achieve instructor approval or sponsorship for their research proposal will receive a failing grade. And so if you don't have a grade on your method section, you can't go forward because your research proposal is not going to be sponsored. So anyway, I know I've made that clear throughout the class. It's in the syllabus. Honestly, I don't want you to submit a final paper at this point because of you needing to have these other components in place. So that being said, just keep that in mind. If you have questions on that, please reach out to me and contact me. So the IRB form submission, that is what I've instructed people to do with emailing me back. If you're in this boat where I've asked you to make edits and redactions, I just haven't received a lot of those. I'm in conversation with a few of you, but I don't have a majority of those back. So research proposals that fail to clearly and validly operationalize variables will not be sponsored. So I just want you to know that if you do, get that back to me. I will give you, basically this is a pass-fail grade. If you have 10 points, you can look through. I've added an assignment, this IRB form submission. If you have earned 10 points on this, you have sponsorship. If I have, CC'd you on an email to Mrs. Keenan, you have sponsorship. So the formal research proposal, this is the big enchilada. This is 150 points, which is over half the whole class. Again, if you don't have sponsorship, do not. If you don't have 10 points from your IRB form submission, do not submit your formal research proposal because I'm not going to look at it. Also, it's important that you don't submit it to turn it in, because once it's submitted to turn it in, it's going to count that towards plagiarism. So you want to make sure that you have everything else in line before you submit it. Let's go to that place in the course where we have the formal research proposal. So if you pull this up, this is where, for those of you that have obtained faculty sponsorship, you'll notice that it says formal research proposal here. So you can go in and view assignment, formal research proposal, and you can see that you'll have a place to submit. So you'll want to upload your Word document, your IRB APA paper, your formal research proposal, everything in the best shape that you possibly can make it. And we'll, it's going to go into Turnitin, and we'll grade it. We'll take a look at it. But again, you do not have permission to turn in your paper unless you have sponsorship. I'll review this again on Monday. But again, don't turn in your paper unless you have sponsorship, or it's going to mess up the plagiarism part of this program. I mentioned plagiarism. If you wrote your literature review and didn't use your own language, you're still, you still could possibly fail. And told a student earlier today that I've never pulled back a sponsorship. However, if I find that you've plagiarized most of your paper, or even part of your paper, if you plagiarized, you are subject to all of the ramifications, which includes failing the class, which include contacting the chair, the dean. So again, I mentioned that at the time. So if you feel like you've plagiarized, this would be a good time to last chance to go in and fix that. So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that this little tidbit has been useful. Again, you can go, if you've already got a good product, you've got sponsorship from me, you want to go ahead and upload it, that's good. Most of you really need to get an edit back to me so we can see about moving forward. If you don't have a grade for your methods section, very honestly, at this point, it may behoove you to take the class at a later date. Or if I've told you, this is quite a ways from being sponsored, that's something also to consider. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll see you in class Monday. See ya.